Have you ever glanced at yourself in the mirror and quietly thought, is this just how things are now? Mornings that take longer to start, a body that doesn't respond the way it once did, and that sense of connection, both emotional and physical, that used to come so easily now feeling like a distant memory. If this resonates with you, I want you to hear something important. You're not the only one feeling this way. And no, it doesn't have to remain like this. Aging might change your rhythm, but it doesn't mean you have to give up your vitality, your closeness, or that meaningful connection you used to share. It's absolutely possible to feel warmth, intimacy, and confidence in your body again. And surprisingly, it could all begin with something as ordinary as a piece of fruit you might already have at home. Yes, fruit, not prescription drugs, not invasive procedures, and not expensive hormone therapies. Just 5 simple, natural fruits that help improve circulation, stabilize hormones, and slowly reignite the intimacy that may feel lost. In this video, I'm going to guide you through 5 fruits that have made a difference for thousands of older adults across the globe, helping them feel more energetic, more connected, and more like themselves again, especially after age 60. And the last one on the list? It's more than just tasty, it's a time-honored symbol of passion, and what it does for your body is truly impressive. So stay tuned. This might be one of the most uplifting health changes you make this year, and if anything I say today resonates with you, leave a comment below, even just a 1 to show you're here. Or oh, if it didn't help, because I read every single one. I'm here to grow with you. And before we go any further, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss a video from Health Hub. Everything we do is designed to help you live with strength, joy, and independence at every age. Ready to begin? Let's kick things off with a fruit that might already be sitting in your fridge, but whose effects are far from ordinary. Some years back, I spoke with a man in his early 70s, sharp-minded, kind-hearted, but there was a quiet heaviness in his tone. He leaned in and said, "It's not that I've fallen out of love with my wife. I just feel detached, like my body doesn't know how to respond anymore." It wasn't the first time I'd heard that kind of thing. Over time, I've come to understand something that many health professionals still overlook. Circulation is about more than just blood flow. It's about energy, responsiveness, and yes, even closeness, and that leads us to red grapes. Not a fancy supplement, not an exotic fruit flown in from far away, just regular, juicy red grapes. A simple gift from nature that helps restore blood circulation, especially in areas where aging tends to slow things down first. What gives them this power is a compound called resveratrol, found in the skin of red grapes. Resveratrol is more than just another antioxidant term. It works deep within your blood vessels, helping them relax and open up. When that happens, blood can move more freely, delivering oxygen throughout your body to your muscles, your heart, your brain, and yes, even to the most private areas. In fact, studies have shown that resveratrol increases the production of nitric oxide, the same chemical that medications like Viagra use to support and maintain arousal. But grapes do it in a gentler, natural way without harsh side effects or dependence. For men, this could mean more consistent and responsive performance. For women, it often translates to better pelvic circulation, reduced dryness, improved sensitivity, and a renewed sense of comfort and closeness. What struck me most is how a small routine can spark real transformation. I worked with one couple who started sharing a small bowl of grapes every afternoon. It became more than just a snack, it turned into a quiet moment of connection. 3 weeks later, the wife told me with tears in her eyes that he reached for her again. Not just physically, but emotionally. "He feels like himself again," she said. "That's the kind of impact we're talking about." So, if your hands or feet have been feeling colder, or the spark seems to have faded and you're wondering if that's just aging, I invite you to try something simple. Add a serving of red grapes to your routine. Afternoon, evening, whenever works for you. Rinse them, eat them slowly, and allow your body to do what it was designed to do, respond. Because intimacy isn't something we lose, it's something that can be buried under years of stress, health issues, and patterns that no longer serve us. But here's the great news: with the right kind of support, even something as humble as a grape can help your body remember. Now that you've seen how something so familiar can bring surprising results, let's talk about the next fruit, one that might catch you off guard. It's tart, red, and it's been doing more than just supporting your kidneys for decades. I'll admit it, I never thought much of cranberries growing up. To me, they were just that tart side dish that showed up once a year during Thanksgiving, sweetened, gelid, and easily forgotten. But the older I got and the more I listened to my senior patients' stories, the more I began to realize that these little red fruits were quietly doing something amazing in the background. I started noticing a pattern. Older folks who seemed more at ease and more in sync with their partners often mentioned cranberry juice, dried cranberries, or even cranberry supplements. That made me curious. So I looked deeper, and what I found surprised me. Turns out cranberries are more than just a sharp-tasting snack. They're silent protectors of some of the most overlooked systems in your body, your kidneys and urinary tract. And trust me, those systems have a much bigger influence on your energy, self-assurance, and intimacy than most people realize. As we get older, kidney function tends to slow. Toxins can accumulate, inflammation can rise, and blood pressure can creep up. All of these factors quietly chip away at how good you feel, especially in the parts of your body that need clear blood flow and stable hormones to function well. In men, this often leads to low energy, weaker performance, and a general sense of disconnection. For women, it can show up as irritation, discomfort, or even avoidance of physical closeness, not from a lack of love, but because their body doesn't feel ready. That's where cranberries come in. They're packed with compounds called proanthocyanins, which help eliminate harmful bacteria from the urinary system, reduce inflammation, and even improve blood vessel health in the pelvic area. That translates to better blood flow, reduced pain, and more confidence during moments of intimacy. But there's more. Cranberries also support healthy blood pressure and kidney function, both of which directly affect nitric oxide levels and circulation. In other words, they help everything flow better, including desire, function, and emotional ease. I had a patient, a retired seamstress in her mid-60s, who dealt with urinary discomfort for years. She had stopped being intimate not because she didn't care, but because she feared the pain. We made one simple change: half a cup of unsweetened cranberry juice in the morning and a small handful of dried cranberries with lunch or dinner. 3 months later, she hugged me not because the cranberries were magical, but because they gave her something she thought she'd lost: comfort. And with that comfort came closeness. Sometimes, the thing that's quietly causing pain is also what's blocking the connection you've been missing. So next time you're at the store and see cranberries or pure juice, pause and grab some. Inside that modest fruit might be the support you need for something deeply personal and meaningful. We've talked about boosting blood flow and supporting kidney health. But what if I told you the next fruit on our list doesn't just help things function, it helps bring back your energy? And not just physical energy, but that subtle, glowing sense of feeling alive in your own body. Let's talk papaya. There's something poetic about papaya. Its rich, golden color feels like it holds sunlight in every bite. But this fruit is more than just lovely to look at. For many older adults I've worked with, papaya marked a gentle turning point, not because it promised miracles, but because it helped their bodies remember what it felt like to feel good. I remember George, 68 years old, a retired school principal. He ate well, stayed active, got good sleep, but still felt like something was off. He told me, "I feel drained before the day even begins," and worse, intimacy had become more of a distant memory. Not because he didn't want it, but because the energy just wasn't there. We didn't revamp his diet or add medications. We just added one thing: a serving of papaya blended with Greek yogurt every morning, and in just a few weeks, his posture shifted. His eyes were brighter. He greeted his wife with a new spark. He said, "I feel like myself again." To me, that's real success. You see, papaya isn't just a tropical delight, it's loaded with vitamins A, C, and E, which help with tissue repair, circulation, and hormone support. But its real superpower lies in its enzymes, especially one called papain. Papain supports digestion, yes, but even more importantly, it lowers inflammation in the gut and bloodstream, which is where much of our energy gets depleted as we age. Papaya also strengthens the adrenal glands, the tiny powerhouses responsible for managing stress hormones like cortisol. When cortisol stays high for too long, it drains your energy, throws off your hormone balance, and makes closeness feel like a task instead of a joy. By calming the adrenals, papaya helps your body shift out of survival mode and into a place of connection again. For men, it gently promotes healthy testosterone levels, something often overlooked in traditional care. For women, it supports estrogen balance and boosts circulation in the pelvic region, making closeness feel more natural, more comfortable, and more fulfilling. And the best part, it's incredibly easy to enjoy. Just slice it, scoop it, and eat it fresh, or blend it into a smoothie with a little protein. This isn't about turning back time, it's about restoring your energy. Waking up feeling clear and calm. Looking at your partner with that playful look you thought was gone. Papaya doesn't make promises. It just nourishes your body, your mood, and your energy, and once your energy returns, everything else becomes easier: movement, connection, and yes, intimacy too. So if you've been feeling sluggish, heavy, or out of touch with your own body, this might be the small change you've been waiting for. Now that you've seen how papaya can reignite your inner fire, let's move on to a fruit that does more than help circulation. It helps quiet the mind and open the heart. Let's take a moment to talk about cherries. There's something deeply comforting about them. Maybe it's the rich red hue, or the way they seem to invite you to slow down and savor each bite. You don't rush through cherries, you enjoy them, one at a time. That's part of their charm. They remind you how to reconnect not just with food, but with your senses, your body, and even your partner. I remember working with a couple in their late 60s, Jim and Carol. They had been together for more than 40 years, and their bond was obvious. But even with all that love, something had changed. Jim expressed it quietly, almost embarrassed, saying, "I love her, but I don't feel like myself anymore." Carol added, "I miss feeling close. Not just touch, but how we used to look at each other." There was no anger between them, only a quiet sadness, like they had come to accept that real intimacy was something from the past. I asked them to try something simple. A small bowl of cherries each night, fresh when available, frozen or dried otherwise. They looked surprised, but 2 months later, they came back, holding hands and smiling. Jim said, "We didn't think it would do much, but something shifted. We feel close again." You see, cherries are more than just sweet snacks. They're packed with anthocyanins, natural plant compounds that ease inflammation in the arteries and help blood vessels stay flexible. That means better blood circulation throughout the body, including the areas essential for pleasure and comfort during moments of intimacy, but the benefits go deeper. Cherries are one of the few fruits that naturally contain melatonin, the hormone that supports healthy sleep. And sleep? It's often the unsung hero of emotional and physical connection. Poor sleep leads to higher stress levels, disrupted hormone balance, and a lack of emotional availability. When you're exhausted, closeness becomes harder. But when sleep improves, hormone levels stabilize, tension eases, and you're more open to affection again. For men, this often means better performance without medication. For women, it can bring increased comfort, sensitivity, and a renewed openness without fear of discomfort or fatigue. Cherries don't force anything, they simply help remove the barriers that get in the way. Inflammation, tension, restless nights. One woman once told me, "Maybe it's the cherries, or maybe it's the habit, but now, my husband and I sit together every night. We talk, we laugh, we reach out again." That, to me, is real healing. So if your evenings have started to feel more lonely than peaceful, try this: a small bowl of cherries before bedtime. Whether fresh, dried, or just a splash of tart cherry juice, let it be your evening ritual. Not only for your heart and hormones, but for the peace and reconnection that come when your mind and body begin to align again. And if you've stayed with me this far, chances are you're feeling a quiet spark of hope, like something in you is ready to wake up. But we still have one final fruit to explore, a fruit with a history steeped in symbolism and passion. Let's turn now to a fruit that brings all the others together: pomegranate. Some fruits don't just feed the body, they carry meaning. Pomegranate is one of those rare gifts from nature. Across cultures and generations, it has symbolized fertility, renewal, and love. But it's not just a symbol, it has very real effects, especially for those of us navigating life beyond our 60s. I remember Evelyn, a woman of 72, whose spirit was still vibrant, but whose eyes showed a quiet longing. She missed feeling wanted, and she missed wanting. She told me, "I'm not asking for fireworks. I just want to feel alive again." So we talked about gentle ways to support her well-being. No pills, no pressure, just something natural. I suggested she try pomegranate, and here's why. Pomegranate isn't just pretty on the outside, it's full of nutrients on the inside. It contains polyphenols and natural nitrates, both of which support blood vessel health and nitric oxide production. What does that mean? Simply put, it helps your arteries relax and open up, improving blood flow throughout the body, including to the heart, brain, and areas connected to intimacy and desire, with more oxygen and circulation, warmth and vitality. can return to parts of the body that may have felt dull or distant. But it goes beyond that. Studies show that regular intake of pomegranate juice can gently support testosterone production even in older men. No dramatic spikes, just steady support for better energy and confidence. For women, its antioxidant content helps soothe inflammation in the pelvic region and supports estrogen balance. This can make intimacy feel easier, more natural, and less like something forced. And many women report something deeper, not just physical changes, but emotional openness. And that's often where real connection begins. Evelyn took this seriously. Every morning, she drank half a glass of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice. No added sugar, no blends, just the juice. A few weeks later, she sent me a message that simply said, "It's like something switched back on." And I've heard similar things from countless people, those who thought they had to give up on touch, on romance, on feeling alive just because no one told them their body still wanted to respond. They just needed the right nudge. That's what pomegranate offers, a signal. A reminder that even as we age, we're still capable of desire, of affection, of love. If you're unsure whether one fruit can really change how you feel, I encourage you give it a try. A small morning glass of juice, a few spoonfuls of seeds over yogurt or salad. Something easy, joyful, and quietly powerful. Because passion doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just needs to be remembered. And sometimes it starts with a seed. Now that we've covered all 5 fruits, each one offering something unique, from improved circulation to hormone support to emotional ease, you might be wondering, what comes next? Let's wrap this up with a message I hope stays with you from today forward. You've just discovered 5 everyday fruits that offer more than just nutrition. They carry the quiet strength to help you feel vibrant again, to support blood flow, reduce tension, balance hormones, and most importantly, help you reconnect with your body, with your partner, and with yourself. Getting older doesn't mean giving up on closeness. It just means learning to listen more carefully to what your body really needs. And sometimes that wisdom doesn't come from a pill, but from something as ordinary as a handful of grapes or a spoonful of pomegranate. You don't need to change everything at once. Just begin. Begin with one. Let your body remember what it feels like to be cared for again. Let it respond. Because you are still here. You're not too old. You're not finished. You deserve to feel strong, confident, and joyful starting now. If any part of this video spoke to you, leave a comment and let me know which fruit you're going to try first. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Health Hub, so we can continue this journey together towards strength, connection, and a life that's still beautifully your own.